Okay, so welcome to another edition of Australian Paddock. Now this is a requested video because what I'm going to be doing is changing the line on this Stihl battery line trimmer. This is the FSA 85 line trimmer. It looks like this. You can see that, and as you can see, the line's been emptied. So what I want to do today is just show you how easy it is to do this. Now the first thing we want to do with all battery equipment is we want to pull the battery out. Okay, there's the battery. It makes the system a lot lighter, but it also makes it safer for us. We can't accidentally turn it on, so we've got no power through here now, which is fantastic. Okay, so now you can replace the line on these line trimmers without needing to pull any of this head apart. You just have to feed your line in and wind it on. Now, what I'll show you though is the most common problem is you may or may not have anything stuck inside the head after it's lost all its line. Now I've replaced the line on this several times and I've never had anything stuck inside, but what we're going to do is we'll pull it apart and I'll show you exactly what's going on. I've got two cameras set up here, so hopefully we can see inside. So there's two parts here. This is the part that you wind your line onto, which is this part here. The second part is the bump stop in the middle, the spring-loaded part that feeds the line. We want to unscrew the bump stop. So I've got to grab it here, so if you can see that, we're grabbing and we just unscrew that. It should come apart pretty easily. And it'll just come to a point where it falls out. Okay, it's got a rubber seal around the edge here. And then the middle part comes out of here, and you've got a spring inside. So you see those two parts? Now this doesn't need to come off this. If it does, just make sure it's clean. And it's got four little stars that line up with four spots here. And if you give it, it's like a bayonet fitting for a light globe. You push it in, line up those four, push it in, and just twist to the right, and it stays on. You can actually undo it the same way. If I can, there we go. Just a slight push, twist to the left, or anti-clockwise. Push it in and twist to the right, and we've done that one up. Now this is the interesting unit here. When we wind the line on, it will go onto these two sections here. We'll push it in, it'll go into one of these four holes. You see this one's aligned to the top, or to this side, and this one is aligned to the left side. So as long as you have them in alternate sides, one goes onto here and one goes onto here. So as long as this is clean, then we can put it back together and we wind on with it in place. So we'll put that back on, just push it on. You can go any way and just really just wind it. You don't need to push the bump stop, just wind it up and it comes tight, and that's fine. Okay, now to change the line, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need some line. Now in this line trimmer, it is specifically designed for 2mm wire. So 2mm wire. Very important to put the right size on. A lot of people have problems by putting the wrong size line on. So we've got our 2mm wire. I've used this one before. Nothing very fancy about it. A pair of wire cutters to cut the line. And just a rule. I've got a 1 metre rule here, just to help us measure out the line. So what we're going to do is, and the trick here, is to measure out just a couple of metres. Don't try and do it all in one go. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the rule here so you can see, and I'm just going to measure out a couple of metres. One, obviously it's springy, difficult stuff, it can be difficult. Two, and there it goes at the table. It's exactly what makes it difficult. Three, doesn't matter. And four. And we're going to cut that at 4 metres. And we can actually say goodbye to that container. So here's our line ready to go. Now it's tangly stuff. Try and untangle it as best you can. Find the ends. can be easy with two people doing this, but I want to try and show you that you can do it as one person. Find the ends. Okay, there's our two ends. What we're going to do is we're going to push these in and then wind it on so it'll go on evenly, and then we'll cut it in the middle. That's the trick to this. So we've got our two ends. Now what we're going to do here though, is we need to line this up. Now there are two arrows on the outside ridge here. There's an arrow here and there's an arrow here. On this intermediate one here, there are corresponding arrows, look the same shape, like triangles. You need to turn this anti-clockwise until they line up. Now remember, there are 4 positions inside, so only a quarter turn will line that up. So that's lined up, quarter turn. Now I'm just going to push this in, and it goes, see this? It's got to go underneath this bar here. So you can go in the top. What you want to do is you want to come in underneath like this, and you've got to find that little bit of a sweet spot in there. And that's gone in the wrong way. Now you felt that go the wrong way then. So that's one side in. It sort of goes, that one sort of goes up slightly. This one sort of goes down slightly. There it goes. You've got to find that spot. Be persistent. It only goes in a very small amount, and it tends to not be able to, not be able to pull out, just pull it out. Okay. Now it's pushed in too far. See, that's going in, that's going in about that far. That's better. Just enough so that it won't push in. And make sure they're firmly pushed in though. It should push in hard, and it shouldn't push in anymore. That's the real trick to it. Once you've got that in, got your line flopping loose, now we're just going to tighten this up. And you can see, I'll get my hand out of the way, it's starting to pull that line in on both sides. I'll actually put it in front if I can, and you can sort of see it. Hopefully you can see it sort of wind it in. It looks like it's all caught. See, we're going in quite well. Don't worry about the curl, you can't do anything about that. It just is what it is. I'm just showing you what it looks like as it's going in. Don't worry about it too much though, just keep it out of the way. I'm going to wind it in. Keep winding. Anti-clockwise. You can't wind it clockwise, you can only go one way. So as you can see, it's getting in the way, but it's okay, it's going on just fine. Getting close to the end now, so it's fairly nice. Now we still don't want to cut it though. We want to just keep going. Getting closer. You want to come down to where it's just a bit where the whole loop is going to be past the cutter here. So it's pretty close. I might just give it one more click. Alright, now I'm going to cut that in the middle. Alright? Doesn't have to be perfect. Oops, hang on, these side cutters. There we go. And there's our two lines, and you see they're longer than the cutter here. Alright. It is painful, mainly because the line's so springy. So we're going to get our battery pack again. It's about 3 bars charged. Shove that in. Okay. And now we'll just fire it up and it should auto cut itself. And we're done. So let's have a look at that. that. So there you go, all ready to go. So what we've got there is we've got 2 meters of line. That means that it's not overly tight in here. That means it'll pay out really nicely. So I hope that helps you to replace the line in your line trimmer. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, please leave a comment or like the video below. We'll see you next time.